The message on his phone looked harmless, almost funny. It simply said that someone had arranged a blind date for him at a quiet seaside cafe because, according to his closest friends, it was finally time for him to stop surviving and start living again. What Daniel didn't know was that this innocent prank would lead him into a moment that would change not only his future but also the future of a little girl whose biggest wish wasn't for toys, vacations, or expensive gifts. Her wish was heartbreakingly simple. She only wanted someone who would stay. Before we continue this emotional journey, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Soulful Stories. Every small action helps us bring more heartfelt stories like this to people around the world. Daniel Harris had spent 12 years serving in the Navy. Long deployments, dangerous missions, and endless nights at sea had taught him discipline, courage, and sacrifice. Yet none of those experiences prepared him for becoming a single father after losing his wife, Emily, to a sudden illness. Overnight, military operations were replaced with lunchboxes, homework, bedtime stories, and trying not to cry after his son, Noah, had fallen asleep. Daniel retired from service earlier than he had planned because his 6-year-old boy needed a father more than the Navy needed another sailor. Life settled into a predictable rhythm. Every morning began before sunrise, every afternoon was filled with school pickups, and every evening ended with Daniel pretending everything was fine. His smile became something he wore for Noah's sake. Friends noticed the loneliness hidden behind it, but Daniel always insisted he wasn't interested in dating. He believed loving someone again would somehow dishonor the memories he still carried of Emily. His closest friends refused to believe that was the end of his story. Without telling him, they arranged what they jokingly called Operation Second Chance. They reserved a table at a cozy cafe overlooking the ocean and anonymously sent him the invitation. Daniel almost ignored it, convinced it was some kind of mistake. But after Noah insisted that his father deserved to meet someone nice, Daniel reluctantly agreed, mostly to prove that nothing would come of it. Across town, Olivia Bennett almost cancelled for entirely different reasons. She had never asked anyone to arrange a blind date, but her older sister secretly signed her up after years of watching Olivia devote every waking moment to raising her 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Since her divorce, Olivia had built walls around her heart. She worked long hours as a children's librarian, stretched every paycheck, and poured every ounce of love into Lily. Romance simply didn't fit anywhere in her carefully balanced life. When Daniel walked into the cafe, he immediately realized something unusual had happened. Olivia looked just as confused as he felt. Their awkward smiles revealed that both of them had been tricked by people who loved them enough to interfere. For a moment they considered leaving, but embarrassment slowly gave way to laughter. Instead of walking away, they decided they might as well have coffee since they were already there. The conversation was surprisingly easy. They didn't pretend to be perfect. Daniel spoke honestly about military life, losing Emily, and learning how to braid hair for school events even though he only had a son because he volunteered to help other parents whenever he could. Olivia shared stories about rebuilding her confidence after divorce and discovering that strength often looked ordinary from the outside. Hours slipped by almost unnoticed. Neither of them realized the afternoon had quietly turned into evening. Meanwhile, Lily had been spending the afternoon with her aunt, but an unexpected emergency forced her aunt to bring her to the cafe. Lily quietly walked inside holding her favorite stuffed rabbit. She spotted her mother laughing, something she hadn't seen in a very long time. Curious, she approached the table and shyly introduced herself to Daniel. Daniel knelt to Lily's eye level instead of towering over her. Years of fatherhood had taught him that children noticed small gestures adults overlooked. He asked about the rabbit, admired the colorful bracelet she had made herself, and listened carefully while she proudly explained every tiny detail. Olivia watched with quiet surprise. Most people tried too hard around children. Daniel simply treated Lily like a person whose thoughts mattered. As the evening came to an end, everyone stood to leave. Daniel thanked Olivia for the unexpected afternoon and prepared to walk toward the parking lot. That was when Lily gently tugged on the sleeve of his jacket. Her small voice barely rose above the evening breeze, but the words landed with incredible weight. She looked into his eyes and asked the question that seemed far too big for someone so young. She asked if he would stay. The world seemed to stop moving. Daniel wasn't sure what Lily truly meant at first. Then he noticed the quiet fear hidden behind her hopeful expression. Olivia's eyes filled with tears as she softly explained that Lily had watched too many people enter their lives only to disappear. Friends moved away. Relatives became busy. Her father rarely kept promises. Without meaning to, Lily had developed one simple test for every adult she trusted. She wanted to know whether they planned to leave too. Daniel didn't answer immediately because he respected the importance of the question. Instead of making a promise he couldn't yet guarantee, he smiled gently and told Lily that if she and her mother wanted him to come back another day, he would. Lily nodded with the biggest smile Daniel had seen in years. It wasn't certainty she needed. It was hope. The weeks that followed weren't filled with dramatic romance or fairy tale perfection. They were built through ordinary moments. Daniel invited Olivia and Lily to join him and Noah for weekend picnics. The children became friends almost instantly, inventing adventures in playgrounds and building blanket forts while the adults shared coffee and conversations nearby. Slowly, Daniel discovered that healing didn't happen all at once. It happened one ordinary day after another. Still, fear lingered beneath the surface. Daniel worried he might fail another family. Olivia worried history would repeat itself. Whenever life became complicated, both instinctively stepped backward instead of forward. Misunderstandings appeared. Busy schedules caused cancelled plans. Old emotional wounds whispered that perhaps they were safer alone. Then one rainy afternoon, Lily became seriously ill with a severe infection and had to spend several days in the hospital. Olivia barely left her daughter's bedside. Daniel didn't hesitate. He picked Noah up from school, prepared meals for Olivia, watered her plants, handled errands, and quietly showed up every day without asking for recognition. He never tried to rescue anyone. He simply stayed. Lily noticed everything. Even while recovering, she watched Daniel arrive carrying soup, books, and encouraging smiles. He never complained about being tired. He never acted as though helping was an inconvenience. For the first time in years, Lily began believing that maybe some people really did keep showing up. When Lily was finally discharged, everyone gathered at a small park to celebrate her recovery. Noah ran across the grass flying a bright blue kite while Lily laughed louder than she had in months. Daniel looked around at the little family that had formed almost by accident. He realized his friends hadn't simply played a prank. They had opened a door he never would have walked through on his own. Months later, Daniel returned to the same seaside cafe where the blind date had begun. This time there were no surprises waiting. Olivia already knew why he had invited her there. He told her that love wasn't about replacing the past. It was about honoring it by choosing hope again. Emily would always be part of his life, but she had taught him that love grows stronger when it is shared, not locked away. Olivia admitted she had spent years believing broken families could never become whole again. Daniel gently showed her they didn't have to erase yesterday to build tomorrow. Not long afterward, Daniel and Olivia blended their families with patience instead of pressure. There were still difficult days, disagreements, and moments of uncertainty, but there was something stronger than fear holding them together. There was commitment. Noah gained a caring friend in Lily. Lily finally gained something she had quietly wished for every birthday before blowing out the candles. She gained someone who stayed. If this story has touched your heart so far, please take a moment to comment with the words, "Kindness always stays." We'd truly love to read your thoughts and know where you're watching from. As the years passed, Daniel often reflected on the strange message that had appeared on his phone that ordinary morning. What had seemed like an embarrassing prank became the greatest blessing of his life. Sometimes second chances don't arrive wrapped in certainty. Sometimes they arrive disguised as accidents, awkward moments, or unexpected invitations. The courage isn't found in knowing how the story ends. It's found in choosing to show up anyway. If this story moved you, please like this video, leave a heartfelt comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Soulful Stories. Your support helps these stories reach people who may be searching for a reminder that kindness still exists, second chances are real, and sometimes the smallest question asked by a child can completely change the course of someone's life. In the end, Daniel discovered that the greatest promise anyone can make isn't spoken in grand words. It's quietly proven every single day by simply staying.